Welcome to Pilgrimage Films, and today we're going to be talking about relationships. Woo! And also Pokemon. Normally here we extrapolate on something like Taiwanese folk religion and Christianity, and we don't want something new to freak you out. We still have a ton coming up that's focused on what we've been doing, but we also want to start expanding out on some new things and new ideas. So today we're going to do our first missionary life lesson. In this video, we're going to cover a 3-piece formula for deepening any relationships you have.
I believe I've isolated the algorithm from making friends.
And especially those really difficult ones like your relationship with the God of the universe. This one simple strategy though will help you take any moment where you're interacting with other people and build better relationships through it. So have you ever had an experience like this? Like you really want to be close to someone, like a friend, a mentor, even a spouse, even your spouse. And you plan to meet up for coffee and you think it's just gonna be this incredible time and you're gonna just talk and it'll be fun, but it just feels like a real bust. You never get to deep stuff, nothing's that interesting, and you maybe even think, are we really that close? Or if it's somebody you've known for a long time, you say, is something changed? Our relationship isn't as fun and thrilling as it used to be.
Can you give me another chance?
Haven't you had enough?
Andy, look, I'm willing to do anything.
Get up.
I'll do anything, Andy. Look, what do you think about couples therapy?
And if you've had that experience, maybe you're approaching relationships wrong. You gotta follow with me. So as a missionary, relationships are what we do. Literally, it's the bread and butter of my life is building relationships and trying not to wreck relationships we've built. And so that's taught us some things and helped me to kind of think through it over the years. So relationships are a lot more like Pokemon than we realize. Some of you are already mouth-retching at the idea of video games. You're just, video games, this guy's talking about things that are electronic. So if that's you, this metaphor can also work for hunting and fishing.
A baby.
But it's important to understand that this metaphor could change your life, even if Pokemon are a little bit scary to even talk about. Pokemon works by you beat up and catch these small little creatures who are kind of like pets and they get special powers and you can battle them with other pets, and I'm sure it's a lot more positive sounding when it's all the cute stuff of Pikachu and all the stuff being like, Squirtle, Squirtle! Squirtle! But so it's kind of dark. What makes it unique is how you find and capture these Pokemon. So Pokemon live in different environments, like maybe they're in the desert or in the ocean.
A complete map of where every Pokemon can be found.
Basically, you control a little character who's like, I want to be a Pokemon master. He walks around until he has an encounter with the Pokemon. Not all of the environments are going to have a Pikachu though. So if you're going through tall grass, you might not find it. You have to go to a specific place.
Pikachu?
So your environment really matters. More than that too, as you're going and you encounter these Pokemon, sometimes you meet the same one 30 times in a row, and we'd call that a common encounter. So you'd see a Rattata, it looks like a rat. So these common encounters you don't like. After a while, you're just tired of it, and you just want to leave the little battle that you got going on. We'll occasionally have an uncommon encounter, and it's a Pokemon that's a little bit more rare, and you're like, ooh, this is exciting. Ooh, uncommon Pokemon. But sometimes you have that rare encounter, and you see a Pikachu. The exotic Thundermouse you've been trying to get for years. And that's exciting. You've been wandering in this environment, trading time to have these encounters, and all of a sudden you have this really special, unique encounter, and it's memorable. And that brings us to part 1 of the formula for relationships that can change your life. So you're gonna hold on to these formulas and we're gonna tie it together in the end. Environment plus time equals encounters. Pretty simple, right? If you trade time in an environment in Pokemon, you're going to have encounters. Some common, sometimes rare. So what happens when a Pokemon arrives? You have to capture it. And that's going to involve a lot of stuff, very similar to fishing. Basically, you're going to have to use a tool like Pokeballs or a fishing pole and skill to wrangle this encounter so that you capture that Pokemon. And we're going to call that a result, getting a Pokemon. So this gives us another formula, right? Encounter plus resources. So resources, skill, your items, that really nice fancy fishing pole, that equals result. So now let's make this make sense. Number 1, relationships require trading time in the correct environment to have encounters. Number 2, relationships grow when we skillfully handle encounters. And number 3, repeating this process is the best way to grow relationships. Now some of you might be looking at this and say That's a little basic, Jake. But I'm going to explain why you might be doing one little thing that's doing all your relationships wrong, and you don't even realize it. Because once you realize it, you're like, that's why I'm disappointed all the time, and my soul feels so dark at night when I'm really sad underneath the covers.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I'll just chill here.
It's important to know this. Imagine you have a crush on someone, and you're seeing a movie with them and some friends. We've all been there, and your mind starts to rattle off like the thoughts of the potential outcomes. Maybe tonight we're going to talk about deep things, and then our arms are going to brush. And then we're gonna giggle a little bit, and then we're gonna lock eyes, and then it's gonna be like maybe they'll be the one, and then they're gonna laugh at the jokes I say, and the sum amount of this moment will be butterflies just rising up, and there's gonna be so much joy that Nicholas Sparks is gonna cry himself to sleep thinking, why didn't I think of this glorious vision? Yet the night goes awful. There's no romance, there's no wonder. It's awkward. The movie you picked isn't good. You saw like Expendables 3 or Bloodfest or something stupid like that. And then your crush doesn't even talk to you. And then when they do wander over to talk and you're so excited, instead of talking about deep things, they're like, you know like Matt and the Queen from The Bachelor?
Oh man.
Matt is like just so good looking. And you're like, I don't look like Matt. Like this could be difficult. Like, wow. And it just feels like nothing's deep. The night's a bust. You didn't build a relationship and you go home defeated.
And are we girlfriend, boyfriend, or?
Just friends.
Just friends, right, that's okay.
This is what happens when people see relationships as a fixed point in time or an event, and they create this terrible formula without realizing it. So the formula is basically, I do A, so B happens. I go to an event, so my expectation happens. Life isn't like that. Life is setting the environment and trading time for the possibility of a good encounter. And when that encounter happens, you have to skillfully engage it for a positive result. So let's imagine the same scenario. You're going out to a movie with your fanciful crush, and your expectations are instead, I'm going to trade time in an environment, and we may or may not have some sort of an encounter that grows our relationship. All of a sudden, you're not focused on the results, but on the investment. You think things like, am I making a good environment? Like, are you going to watch a movie and keep suggesting films like Scary Ghost House 5, thinking that maybe you're gonna have like this wonderful time, and they're terrified of horror movies? Are you trading a good amount of time? And are you prepared if an encounter happens to handle it skillfully in such a way that you can build a relationship and not be the weirdo, right? The thing that kills our relationships and kills the moments in life that can be very wonderful is often our expectations and thinking that we're gonna get a result just because we do something and thinking that we even know what the result's gonna be. So in an environment where you're trading time to have encounters, what do these encounters look like? Well, encounters can be common. Maybe you have a conversation, right? They can be uncommon, like you have a deep conversation, or they can be rare. Like you really find that you guys have that moment of just an inside joke and you laugh and just remember that day forever, right? And when we talk about relationships, a crush is a great example because it's relatable, but relationships aren't just romantic. Relationships are friendships, neighbors, the church, God, everybody around you. A lot of you might be wondering why meeting someone for coffee once a week, your relationship is just stagnant. And part of that is thinking through, am I the right environment? Am I trading enough time? And do I have the resources to skillfully handle it? Then what results do I get? Are these results, are these good results, bad results? And how do I repeat it and make this a better process? And this just revolutionized the way I handled relationships. And I think if you did it too, it might revolutionize the way you handle relationships. You can bear, you can trust, having the time of your lives. We still managed to get here somehow, right? I told you we were going to talk about your relationship with God. The Bible talks about this idea of building a relationship with God, but many people who are believers just feel it never happens. Some of you wonder how you can go to the Bible. You can read it and you don't feel closer to God. But would you really want a relationship with a friend who, like, in the morning he pops in at like 5:55, runs up, he's like, 1 second, I gotta make my coffee, he's all blurry-eyed, and then he like says a few words like, thank you Jake, oh man, Jake, thank you for this, I got like 16 requests. What type of friend would that be, right? But lots of people, that's their relationship with God. They rush in, coming in hot, they ask a bunch of things, say thank you, read like 2 verses and just say like, I hope I learned something, apply it to my life, don't even apply it. As a missionary, we teach the importance of a daily quiet time with God, or a period praying to God and being in the Bible to read His Word. And we think it's one of the best ways to grow. But it's not just as simple as quiet time equals a deep relationship with God. your environment matters. I don't know how you worship, but your environment does matter, and you have to consider that. And sometimes we don't trade a lot of time. If you spent only 10 minutes a day with your kids for their entire life, they wouldn't say, oh, I have such a good relationship we built over these micro moments. They'd say, I never felt like I had any good encounters with my father. He just wasn't there, right?
Your father, well, he's on the naughty list.
Sometimes we use the wrong resources. Like the book of Revelation, for example, there's like dragons and serpents. If you don't understand the Bible and you're trying to use Revelation to grow with God, you're gonna have some issues because you need to know the framework that the Bible falls into. Start with the story of Jesus. How we talk to God and use those resources is really important. So picture this, a very practical example. Imagine you want a rich relationship with God. Try going to the Word every day and just being present. Or, as radical as this sounds, slotting out enough time to say, God, I'm pursuing an encounter with you. It might be a common encounter, like you've understood the scriptures deeper. Or an uncommon encounter, like you've really connected and felt the presence of God. Or it might even be one of those rare encounters where you say, this is a hallmark of a moment where I basically know this was a pinnacle of my life. My life changed the day that I was having that quiet time with God. You see, there's a story in the Bible of Jacob. He meets this angel, and this angel might be a Christophany, an appearance of Christ, and they're wrestling. And he says this beautiful thing when they're wrestling. They wrestle for a long time. Like we're talking like 24 hours, like WrestleMania, like to the max. Like that's like a $800 pay-per-view type of bill.
Wait a minute, the snake is ready. Oh, the snake is fighting it. The snake is fighting it.
He's wrestling with this angel, and he says, I'm not letting go until you bless me. See, if you read Deuteronomy, it talks about the Jewish people, if they seek the Lord their God with all their heart, soul, and mind, they're going to find him. A lot of times, though, we're not thinking, I'm not letting go, God, until you bless me. Instead, we're saying, I'm showing up for my mandatory time with God, and, it's going to do something eventually, right? But if your environment's not good, and you're not trading enough time, you're not going to have a lot of encounters. And even when you have those encounters, you got to skillfully handle them to have a result, and enough results over time that deepens a relationship. Like, do you see going to church as an event where you're going to go, you're going to hear a sermon, you're going to feel a little bit good, drive home, be like, ha ha ha. That sermon's illustration tickled my funny bone, talk to the kids about it. Or do you see it as this opportunity, a field ripe for the harvesting of encounters with people, with God, that you can skillfully take to get these results and repeat over time so those relationships build and grow and build and grow? What an incredible difference, right? You go to church. Church is this opportunity to say, we're going to do something great today and we're going to get closer to people and closer to God. Or church is this event you go into. You don't even talk to people. You just sit in the pew, same pew, by the way. You kind of listen, you tone out, you pretend to read the Bible on your phone because there's a lot of cool stuff on Wikipedia instead and some news. What is church to you, right? So I hope you enjoyed our first missionary life lesson. If you didn't, let us know in the comments below. But if you did, actually let us know in the comments below because we don't like hate mail. We're going to continue to do more content like this in the future, but we're going to return to our regularly scheduled programming of Taiwanese folk religion next week. If you haven't subscribed already, please take a moment and do it. Click that little bell. We love that bell. Great friend. He actually will notify you when our videos come out, unless you're like some people we know who don't download the YouTube app onto their phone and just use a browser, and then they're kind of like, I don't know when your videos come out. Download the app, Nelson. Also, since this is a missionary life lesson, we're getting a little bit out of the box. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to introduce our team. So we are a team of 3 people. It's not just Jake, believe it or not, but 2 other people are humans, and 1 other person is our technology. But we're going to introduce our team, and we're really excited for you to get to know them as well, because everyone here is a missionary, and we've all came to serve in Taiwan and to follow the Lord. And we'd like to share some of those stories and those different things and hope that you'd be able to enjoy that and learn along with us. Okay, cool. Pokemon! Trading Pokemon cards is a little bit like gambling because you'd buy a pack for money and then you'd open it up and you'd be like, is it really, really rare? And if it's not rare, you can't trade it. But if it is rare, you can give it to another friend to get their card. So it's very similar to gambling, except you use your parents'